Yeah.
What's the toughest lesson you've learned?
I think the toughest lesson, for me is, the balance between family life and my career. I'm going through a divorce, and I look back and I look at all the mistakes and all the things that I could have changed and I should have done, or you kind of get carried away with once you have a hammer, everything's a nail, and you're doing well in business, and you just keep going, and you're just like a train. And then what happens is you start forgetting about everything else. And making that balance is just so hard. And being successful in your family life and being successful in your business life is I think I should have tried a little harder.
You pay a price.
Yeah.
I was just, as you were speaking, I was thinking David Podmore was in here a few weeks ago, and he still golfs, he still fishes, he still manages to seem to have found a balance despite the fact that he's worked incredibly hard over the years, and I think that must be rare.
Yeah, the very few people have it. David, I know David, and he's very focused, very successful, and he's got to share with us some of his secrets.
Who do you admire? And growing up, besides your mom and dad, were there people in business, in public life, in politics, anything, people that you admired?
Yeah, I think the one person is Jimmy Pattison, and it started with Expo, and I said, here's a guy who's in business, and he was working for $1 a year. And
East End boy,
and he took over Expo and made it a success, and I saw all the things that he was doing, and he made it an international event, and then after that, that's when Vancouver took off. People saw what Vancouver was about, and it turned into an international cosmopolitan city. And look at Jimmy today. I mean, he's amazing. I mean, he's just absolutely an amazing human being, and and I speak to him every so often, and we talk, and it's just to sit down with him and talk for an hour with him it's a treat.
He's also given back a lot to the community, and I noticed that you're being awarded the Chinese Medal of Merit. You and your brothers have gotten increasingly philanthropic, increasingly involved in the community.
Yes, Bill, that's what it's all about at the end of the day. Is that you could be successful and do well, and it's not really about you. It's about what you can do for your community and what you can give back. And as a family, we do quite a bit of that, and so some of the personal things that I'm involved with is the boys' club in East Vancouver, where the high school I went to, and I talk to them and help them and mentor them, to get off of drugs and stay away from gang violence, and start doing something positive with their life. And there's a couple of guys in the school system, some teachers there, Jimmy Crescenzo and Wally Mustapik, who are just doing a fabulous job.
This is Templeton.
This is Templeton High School, yes, and they've turned the lives around of dozens of kids that could have gotten into trouble and got into drugs and gone into jail, and now they have jobs and they have careers, and so I get a real kick out of that, and so I take these kids, and we have a program now called Lockers from the Lessons from the Locker Room, where we bring them down to the dress room, and we talk to them about success and hard work and work ethics and dedication and commitment and all those sorts of things. And so my brother is working on CAN, which is the Canuck Autism Network, and my other brother is juvenile diabetes.
Because both of them have kids who have challenges.
Exactly. And we're big supporters of Children's Hospital, of course, Canuck Place. So whenever we can, we get involved where there's a need.
Didn't you also get involved with the Vancouver Parks Board, creating the Italian garden?
Yes,
at the PNE?
That's right. I did that in 2000. There was an opportunity there where the Parks Board wanted to do something. I came forward with a proposal. I said, why don't we make an Italian garden there? And they accepted the proposal. Went to the Italian community and talked to them, and con Fratellanza and the group. And so the Parks Board supported us. We got the Italian community, and we were able to build this fabulous park there.
Back to business. So where do you see the BC economy going in the next 2 to 3 years?
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, Bill, I think that, I travel quite a bit, and I think we have the greatest place in the world here I mean, it's fabulous. We're so fortunate. We live in a bubble. We don't really understand what we have, and things are going quite well here for a number of reasons, because people want to live here. You know, we get a lot of mainland China's investors coming here. We get a lot of Americans, Europeans, and so, you know, we're really spoiled, and we have a really good thing here. We have a very good thing, and so, you know, we're a resource-based economy, but we have natural beauty that a lot of other places don't have, and so that's, I think, our biggest economy is our landscape, and you know, for me, you know, I just don't want to ruin that, and I think governments sometimes have an influence, and you know, the economy is sometimes influenced by the government policies. So I just hope we can keep that going. I hope we can keep the confidence, because right now people are very confident. People want to invest here.
Is the real estate and development business sustainable with the prices, especially in the Vancouver market? A lot of people are concerned about where their kids are going to be able to afford to live.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. It's it's the, you know, a lot of these condos and houses in the high end areas price themselves out of the market for regular people. There's not a chance, and that's coming from the demand. People buying into Vancouver, driving the prices up, and so people have to now go outside. They have to go to Langley, Surrey, and they have to go in the suburban community. So, I mean, that's a good thing and a bad thing. But, you know, I know that, I speak with the mayor, Gregory Robertson, and he's, you know, we've talked about initiatives about, you know, affordable housing, rental housing, and we're actually building a rental complex at Rogers Arena. We're going to build 1,400 units there, all rental.
I'm Bill Good with Francesco Aquilini as we continue our series of profiles of top chief executives in British Columbia, and this is what I call the Vanity Fair segment of the program. What do you do to unwind?
You know, for me, it's exercise. I like to go to the gym. I like to do weights. I ride my bike, indoor bike, and cycling. I do a lot of cycling. You know, I'll go around UBC up to Horseshoe Bay. You know, I train for the Ride to Conquer Cancer Seattle ride that's in June.
Are you doing it?
Yeah, I'm doing it. Yeah, I was going to do it last year, but we were in the playoffs. I've done it for the previous 2 years, and it's a great event, and I encourage people to do it. It's fantastic. It's
Francesco, you're in the playoffs this year too.
Yes, that's right.
When's the Ride for Cancer?
I think it's in June 21st.
Okay, so it should be done by then.
Yeah, the playoff. Yeah, for sure. The last day is June 15th.
Are you reading a book right now?
Yeah, I just picked up a book. I haven't started reading it. It's the Steve Jobs book, and I find that Steve Jobs to be quite an amazing person.
Yeah,
you know, and what he's done in the world, and how he's changed things, and you know, he's basically, you know, he's taken the music industry and he's condensed it, and he's put it in your hand. You know, it was out there. It was always out there, and he's changed how we view entertainment.
If you could have dinner with any four people, living or dead, who would they be and why?
You know, it's funny you say that, Bill. It's you know, I had dinner with Wayne Gretzky on Tuesday, and you know, he's such an amazing person. I mean, he's so humble, down to earth, and he's a guy who's accomplished so much in his life. You know, as a hockey player, he's the greatest hockey player that ever played, and to sit down and talk to him, you know, for 2 hours about hockey was just a treat. And you know, Wayne is you know, he's a guy that, you know, he has an aura about him. I mean, like, if he wasn't a hockey player and he was something else, like a CEO, he'd be successful at anything he does. And so that was a treat. And so the second person would have been John Lennon. I would have loved to meet him. You know, he's the guy who really, you know, who turned pop culture around and who kind of changed the world. And third person would be Albert Einstein. Did you ask me for four?
Yeah.
Albert Einstein. You know, just because he was just such a genius. And the fourth person is Marilyn Monroe.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Why Marilyn Monroe?
Well, you know, Marilyn Monroe, was a person who was like, you know, when gays came out of the closet, you know, she was like women came out of the closet, because, you know, before her, I think women were suppressed, and that's when the real movement of, women as people, and, because before that, I mean, women just started to get votes and that sort of thing. So, I just find her as a fascinating person, how she had to be confronted in the man's world, like what she had to deal with.
You mentioned Wayne Gretzky.
Yeah.
I think it's very sad that he's not involved in a serious way in hockey today. Did you talk about that at all? Is there any way he foresees coming back into hockey?
I asked him that question, and he said that he wasn't interested. He's having a lot of fun right now, and he's enjoying his life, and he's got 3 or 4 projects that he's doing, and that he's just having a great time. But that's not to say, because I'm sure that if an opportunity came along for him, he loves hockey, and he talks about it all the time. That he would definitely jump in. I think if the right opportunity came,
but not with the Vancouver Canucks.
Well, I think we're pretty stacked up. We got great management here. We're doing well. So I like Wayne as a friend, but who knows in the future? Nobody knows.
What about the future of the NBA? There's been a lot of talk recently, a lot of speculation about the NBA coming back to Vancouver. Do you think it can happen? And would you be interested in it, in being part of it?
Yeah, no, I think it's I'd definitely be interested. We're set up for an NBA team. We have the building. We have all the facilities. We still even have the hardwood floors and the hoops and everything. It's all put in storage. The question is about market size. And when the Grizzlies were here in the 2000, I saw all the financial statements because they were in the files, and they were losing a lot of money. And there was a small group of hardcore basketball fans that supported the team, but there wasn't enough of them. But that's not to say it won't work today. Basketball, there's not a big enough basketball culture in Vancouver like a hockey culture, and it would have to be developed. It'd take time, and I would love to see a basketball team here. I think people would love it, and the question is, you want to do something that makes sense. You don't want to do something that you bring a basketball team here and you're struggling to sell tickets and suites. You can't sell suites. If you talk to the guys that were here at the time, they said that they could not sell suites.
And that's imperative.
That's imperative. They have to sell suites, and so there's not that many head offices here, like in Toronto. In Toronto, there's hundreds of head offices. Here, I think there's probably, maybe if you count them, maybe six head offices. So you're really relying on companies, mining companies, entrepreneurs, construction. And you go to them and you say you got to spend $200,000 on a suite. They're like, well, I'm already doing hockey, so you got to spend $400,000.
And so you don't want to compete with yourself. That's right.
And so there's the issue of cannibalism. And so there's only so many entertainment dollars that can go around. But the economy's growing, the market's getting bigger, and that doesn't to say that in the future it's not going to happen. It might happen. Right now, we have an ongoing process of evaluating the market. We're constantly staying close to our sponsors and to our season ticket holders, and talking to them and say, what do you think? Are you willing to make the investment? And once we get a good feel that the market's big enough, then we can go to the league, the NBA, and say, look, we'd like to have a team here, and but we'd have to prove to them that it can be sustainable. We have to prove to them, and I don't think at this point we've come up with enough data, enough information to prove to the NBA that they can sustain a team here.
Thank you for doing this. Really enjoyed it.
All right.
Especially on about 3 hours sleep.
Yeah, well, that's what it's all about. It's about showing up, Bill. It's always
you're getting ready for Sunday?
Yeah, for sure.
Do we know what time the game is yet?
7:00, isn't it?
We'll leave it at that. I don't know. It's not been determined. It's to be announced. So I just
okay.
But I didn't mean to trip you up on that. I just thought you might have the inside knowledge.
Yeah, no, I don't. No.
We'll find out. But
okay.
Again, thanks for coming in.
All right. Okay, Bill.